I'm Michelle from Genie Education Hub. In this episode, I'll be going through everything on quadratic equations. We'll be covering the EMath syllabus starting from Secondary 3, so join us on our journey. So first of all, let's understand some of the completed square form in the expanded form. So when we expand x plus 1 square, we get x squared plus 2x plus 1. And likewise for x plus 2 square and so on and so forth. Now, we're going to look at some of the pattern. Can we see that this one here is half of this square and 4 is half of this square, meaning this is actually the same as 2 square, and likewise for 9 is also equal to 3 square. So you can see that the number here is half of this with a square. So this will be the important point where we do our completing the square. So now let's try an example. When we have x squared plus 2x minus 8, how do we complete the square? So recall that we need half of this square. So what we do is, first of all, we'll copy the first two terms down and we will add half of this and we're going to square it. Now when we add this term inside, we will need to subtract it off to make sure we don't change the equation. So with that, these three terms here will be our completed square, and we'll get x plus 1 square minus 9. Now what happens if the coefficient of x squared is not 1? We have to first factor out the coefficient of x squared, meaning there's a 2 in front of the x squared. We will need to factorize it out, and we'll get 2 bracket x squared minus 4x plus 6, and we'll do what we did just now. So recall, we will copy the first two terms down, which is x squared minus 4x, and we will add half of this square, which is 4 over 2 square. Likewise, when we add this, we will need to subtract it off so that we don't change our equation. And with that, these three terms will give us our completed square. So we'll have x minus 2 square, and we'll get a plus 2. And last step we have to do is we have to expand this inside again, and this will give us 2 bracket x minus 2 square plus 4. Now what happens if coefficient of x squared is negative? It will be the same as the previous example. We will need to factorize the coefficient of x squared. So we'll need to factorize negative, which is in front of the x squared, and we'll get this. So we're going to apply the same rule again. So let's copy the first two terms down, and we will add half of this square, and when we add this, we will take away again. And with that, these three terms will give us our completed square. And usually the last two values here, I will suggest my student to key this in your calculator, and we will get minus 10. And one last step, we will expand the negative inside using the rainbow method, and we will get negative x minus 1 square plus 10. Okay, now let's look at how to solve a quadratic equation using the completing square method. So how do we know when to use completing the square method? So usually the question will ask us to express the quadratic in the form of this, and then it will then ask us to solve this is equal to 0. So now let's look at an example. So the first part will be, they will ask us to express this in the form of this and hence solve this. So when you look at this form, you have to notice that this is what we call our completed square form. So we will first complete the square for x squared minus 2x minus 8. So same thing, we'll copy the first two terms down, and we will add half of this square. And when we add, we will subtract. So we'll combine the first three terms, and we will get x minus 1 square minus 9. So this is our first part. So now how do we hence solve? We can see that we already express x squared minus 2x minus 8 in this form. So all we need to do is equate it to 0. So do not expand this, as if we expand this, we will get back this form. So all we need to do is bring the 9 over to the right side, take square root on both sides, And remember to put our plus minus 3 and just solve out. We get x minus 1 equal to 3 or x minus 1 equal to minus 3. And we'll get x equal to 4 or x equal to negative 2. So now we will solve quadratic equation using the quadratic formula. Right? This is our quadratic formula. So take note that this formula is not given in the EMath formula sheet. So now what does it mean when we solve a quadratic equation equal to 0? It gives us the x-intercept on the graph. So now let's apply the formula. First step, we will identify what is our a, b, and c. So a will be the coefficient of x squared. So if there's no number in front of x squared, it will mean 1. And b will be the coefficient of x, which is negative 10. And lastly, c will be our constant term, which is 6. So substituting this into our quadratic formula, x equal to minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So now at this stage, I'll ask my students to key this in our calculator and we'll get 0.64 corrected to 2 decimal place and 9.36 corrected to 2 decimal place. So for example, if we were to solve this kind of equation, so now what do? We will first need to combine the terms together. And how? So we'll ensure that the denominator are the same. So what do we do to ensure that the denominator are the same? So do not plus 2 for this. If you recall, we need to multiply. So for the first term, we'll multiply by x plus 2. And for the second term, we'll multiply by x. So now, can you see that the denominator are now the same? So we can combine them into a single fraction. So we'll have x plus 2 plus x over x plus 2 equal to 1 over 2. So what's the next step? We will cross multiply. Cross multiply, we'll get x plus 2 equal to 2 and then 2x plus 2. So we're going to open up and simplify. So we have x squared plus 2x equal to 4x plus 4. So recall that we have to ensure that the quadratic is in this form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. So we'll need to bring these two terms over to the left side. So we'll get x squared minus 2x minus 4 equal to 0. So we'll apply the quadratic formula again, where a is equal to 1, b equal to negative 2, and c equal to negative 4. So substituting into the quadratic formula, we'll get x equal to minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Key this in our calculator and we'll get negative 1.24 corrected to 2 decimal place or 3.24 corrected to 2 decimal place. Now, let's look at an application question. Usually questions with distance, speed and time, my suggestion is to draw out to see the flow. So the question says that the distance between two countries A and B is 286. So you're going to draw A is here and B is here, and the distance between them is 286 kilometers. Alright, and if you recall the relationship between distance, speed and time, distance is equal to speed times time. So question says that David travels by car from A to B at a speed of x km per hour. So going from A to B is x km per hour. And the question wants us to find the number of hours it took. So if you want to find time, it will be distance over speed. So time taken will be distance over speed. And distance is 286 and speed is x. So remember to put the units, which is 286 over x hours. Now, let's look at the next part. When he returned his journey from B to A, so the distance is still 286 km. But now his speed is x plus 4. So going back, it takes x plus 4 km per hour. So if you recall again, the distance, speed and time relationship, So the time taken to go back from B to A, so using the same formula, time is distance over speed, which is 286 over x plus 4 hour. Now, let's look at the next part. So the total time to go from A to B and back from B to A was 8 hours. So recall from A to B is 286 over x, and from B to A was 286 over x plus 4. The time for both of them was 8 hours. So we're going to add these two expressions up. 286 over x plus 286 over x plus 4 equal to 8. So recall, if we were to combine this up, we have to ensure that the denominator are the same. So we'll multiply this by x plus 4 and x plus 4, and multiply this by x and x. Combining this up, we'll get 286 times x plus 4 plus 286x over x plus 4 equal to 8. So we're going to cross multiply. We'll get 8x plus 4 equal to 28x times x plus 4 plus 286 times x. And we're going to rainbow and simplify. So we'll get 8x squared plus 32x equal to 286x plus 1144 plus 286x. So again, when we want to use the quadratic formula, recall that we need to express it in the form of 2x squared minus 135x minus 286. So we will shift everything to one side, which gives us 8x squared minus 540x minus 1144 equal to 0. So in order for us to get to this equation, we can see that we divide all of them by 4. So divide by 4, we get 2x squared minus 135x minus 286 equal to 0. Now, the last part to solve this, you can see that the question asks us to correct to 2 decimal place. So we know that we can use the quadratic formula. So we're going to write A equal to 2, B equal to minus 135, C equal to minus 286. Applying the quadratic formula, so x is equal to minus b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So substituting this into our calculator, we'll get x equal to 69.56 corrected to 2 decimal place, or x equal to minus 2.06 corrected to 2 decimal place. So that's all for this episode on quadratic equation. See you guys for the next episode on linear inequalities. Bye!